This is one of those things that'll have you questioning the information you come across on social media. Turns out it's not just our parents' generation getting scammed by fake information. There are major institutions working to sway public opinion in times of political turmoil. Here's more on how the US military was responsible for online propaganda. Starting with Meta's discovery of the US military behind propaganda, it turns out that the US and other Western countries have been engaging in the same things they've been calling out countries like China and Russia for with their disinformation and propaganda efforts on social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. According to Meta, people associated with the US military have been found to be connected to an online misinformation effort on their platform. It opposed nations like Iran, China, and Russia while supporting the US and its allies, but experts claimed it was largely ineffectual. For breaking the terms of service prohibiting organized inauthentic behavior, 26 accounts on Instagram and 39 accounts, 16 pages, and 2 groups on Facebook were both deleted. According to Meta, the United States is where this network first started and concentrated on nations such as Afghanistan, Algeria, Iran, Iraq, Russia, Syria, and Yemen, among many others. It also used techniques similar to those employed in propaganda campaigns against the West, such as fake personas, computer-generated imagery, and multi-platform campaigns. According to analysts, the account aimed at Iran blogged about themes like women's rights and criticized Iranian authorities and policies. Some of those in favor of the US have pretended to be independent media sites, and some have attempted to republish articles from reliable sources like BBC News Russian as their own. According to Meta, the operation utilized a variety of online platforms including Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, Bcontact, and Odnoklassniki. Now, this has serious repercussions on public trust. The study discovered connections to people connected to the US military despite the fact that the individuals behind this operation tried to hide their identities and coordination. The good thing is the majority of the posts had little to no engagement from actual users. When the campaign was first made public, Andy Carvin, managing editor of the Digital Forensic Research Lab at the Atlantic Council, said that launching such a campaign is, quote, ineffective and counterproductive for democracies because you're using the very tactics used by your adversaries. Also, when these things come out, it only further erodes public trust. Concerns over the operation, according to sources, prompted the Pentagon to launch a thorough investigation of how the US military carried out clandestine information warfare. According to a statement, the US Department of Defense is aware of the research published by Meta, but they don't have anything further to report on yet as the investigation goes on, and they reassure everyone the measures will be taken. Next, let's take a look at what was being posted. Researchers claim that Twitter and Meta have taken down an internet propaganda operation that promoted US interests abroad from their platforms. This was the first significant covert pro-US propaganda campaign that the tech titans successfully shut down. The suspended accounts, some of which were created almost 5 years ago, were using numerous languages to market to audiences in the Middle East and Central Asia. According to the researchers, the accounts propagated narratives that sided with the US and its allies while criticizing nations like Iran, China, and Russia. They discovered that the campaign utilized several of the strategies frequently employed in anti-Western propaganda operations. These involved developing fake personas utilizing photographs that were produced artificially and launching campaigns on various media. The researchers also discovered that the suspended accounts were active on a variety of other social media platforms throughout the world, in addition to Twitter and Meta-owned ones. The researchers also discovered that the accounts' messaging varied by area. For instance, in a campaign aimed towards Central Asia, accounts emphasized applauding US assistance to the area and denouncing Russia for its imperialist conflicts in Africa and Syria, as well as the deaths of people in Ukraine. Coming up, the US isn't the only country involved though. The US is far from the only nation spreading this kind of false material online. In the previous quarter, Meta also shut down comparable efforts coming from China and Russia. The Russian operation, which was revealed in September, primarily targeted Germany, following the UK, France, Italy, and Ukraine, with an emphasis on disseminating information in favor of Russia's conflict with Ukraine. The initiative, which started in May of this year, focused on pretending to be over 60 reliable news websites in Europe, including The Guardian and German titles Der Spiegel and Bild. They would publish original content there criticizing Ukraine Ukraine and Ukrainian refugees while defending Russia and stating that Western sanctions against it would be counterproductive. The US, Czech Republic, and, to a lesser extent, Chinese and French-speaking audiences worldwide were the main targets of the Chinese campaign. Ahead of the US midterm elections, the effort appeared to target Americans on all sides of the political aisle. Some of the accounts use AI-generated profile images to give the impression that they belong to genuine people. Meta and Twitter claim that their analysis led them to assume that the US and the UK were the campaign's places of origin. Moving on, Facebook has been sued for collecting personal data. If you are wondering just how safe your data is at the hands of these social media sites, let us go ahead and tell you it isn't. A human rights advocate has filed a high court lawsuit against Facebook's owner, alleging that the business disregarded her right to object to the collection of her personal data. Tanya O'Carroll filed a complaint against Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, claiming that by refusing to respect her right to demand that Facebook stop collecting and processing her data, Meta had violated UK data rules. Building user profiles and pairing them with advertisers who targeted people based on their specific interests and backgrounds allows Facebook to make money. This issue is ultimately about each of us being able to use social media on our own terms without having to essentially accept that doing so requires subjecting us to incredibly intrusive tracking and profiling. O'Carroll's asserts that Facebook has violated Article 21 of the UK General Data Protection Regulation, which gives people the right to object to the processing of their personal data for marketing purposes. According to O'Carroll, a winning case might serve as a precedent for millions of people who use Facebook, social media, and search engines. She's filed a claim with the High Court and is now awaiting Meta's acknowledgement of the claim and its declaration that it will be defended, as well as the outcome of the hearing and the court's decision. Also, she's not asking for money in damages, rather she wants to know if she can choose not to be profiled for marketing purposes. Now, what exactly is Facebook collecting? The user data on Facebook goes considerably beyond the minimal biographical details that most people share. Additionally, Facebook follows users across other websites and applications, gathers so-called biometric face data, and enables advertisers to target users who show an interest in particular medical issues. Facebook carefully examines every detail of its users' online activities, and its tracking goes far beyond the well-known targeted advertising the corporation is known for. Age, place of employment, relationship status, preferences, and other information that people frequently willingly divulge are just the tip of the iceberg. On other websites and applications, Facebook tracks both its users and non-users. Without the express opt-in consent of users, it collects biometric facial data. By analyzing your behavior with artificial intelligence, Facebook can learn practically everything about you. Numerous other businesses, including media outlets like the New York Times, exploit user data for marketing purposes. If Facebook is being singled out for such actions, it is because it dominates the market and bases the majority of its $40.6 billion yearly revenue on the collection and storage of personal information. Facebook conducts this tracking via a variety of software applications with tools like its omnipresent like and share buttons, and something called Facebook Pixel, which is invisible code added to other websites that allow those websites and Facebook to watch users' activity. Internet users can still be tracked even when they visit other websites. Finally, what's Facebook's justification for this? The corporation claimed that tracking users for the purpose of ad targeting was a common business practice and that customers had consented to it when registering for the service. The social media giant is eager to point out that users must accept the company's data policy in order to create an account. The collecting of data, quote, includes information about the websites and applications you visit, your use of our services on those websites and apps, as well as information the developer or publisher of the app or website gives to you or us according to the clear language of the policy. But certain regulatory bodies in Europe claim that Facebook didn't gain the explicit and informed agreement of users before tracking them on other websites and apps. They expressed broad concern over the fact that many of Facebook's 2.1 billion users are unaware of the amount of information Facebook may gather about them and their potential uses. Also, there's rising concern that tech behemoths are unfairly controlling users. And that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on the US propaganda campaign? Please let us know in the comments below. As always, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.